Hey, I'm Adam Sutro, and this is a quarterback film session. The topic of today's film analysis will be Dylan Raiola, sophomore starting quarterback for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Northwestern's opponent tomorrow. Northwestern, at 5-2, will be coming off their dominant 19-0 shutout victory over Purdue in the Lakefront's finale, while Nebraska will be coming off a surprising 24-6 loss on the road against Minnesota, which bumped them out of the AP Top 25. But what about Dylan Raiola? He's a former 5-star high school recruit. He was ranked number 7 in his recruiting class, and this year, many think he's bound for a sophomore breakout season, and so far, he's been playing pretty well. 1,768 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but what does the film say? Well, we'll start with the good. Raiola has just a really good football IQ that jumps out at you immediately when you're watching the film. He's really good at working through his progressions, knowing the play, and finding his man even when the first read doesn't work out. On top of that, he has a strong presence in the pocket. Though he sometimes holds on to the ball too long, usually he's able to feel pressure and react to it, allowing him to extend plays and make success even when things break down. Here we have an early 3rd and 5 in Nebraska's game last weekend against Minnesota. Raiola takes the snap, works through his progressions nicely early in the play. Eventually he's flushed to his left, then works back to his right, breaking a tackle, and then finding the tight end on a dart, weaving the ball through defenders. Perfect ball placement. Here we have a 2nd and 10 from the Minnesota game. Raiola taking the snap, immediately we can see that he recognized number 3, that Minnesota blitzer circled on the broadcast. That linebacker blitz takes away help from the middle of the field, making that in route completely open. Raiola identifies it, connects with his receiver with a precise pass. Great processing from Raiola. Though not an example of Raiola's processing per se, this is another example of just, I think, his keen awareness as a quarterback. Here with the blitz coming, pressure comes from the outside from number 13, but Raiola stands tall in the pocket, knows he needs to get rid of the ball, and delivers an absolute dot down the field. Should have been caught. A deep shot, just a perfect pass. Finally, this play here in the Maryland game is actually one of my favorite examples of Raiola's really good timing as a passer. Here you see the upper receiver. If he throws this ball at this point, the blocking for this screen pass is not set up. Instead, he waits probably about half a second, and that creates the perfect timing, sets up the blocking needed on this play. Not a hard pass, but the timing is super important, and Raiola got it right. This play gets taken to the house, and it's really mostly due to Raiola's ability to set up the blocking and put Isaiah Hunter in the perfect situation. So yeah, from those clips right away, it becomes clear that Raiola's got a high processing ability, and he's a good football quarterback. But there's other stuff physically that he does, which, adding on to his football IQ, really make him a special player. One of those things is his ability to extend plays with his legs, and that involves, one, just kind of evading tackles and getting away from pass rush so that he can throw downfield, but also actually looking to gain yards with his legs as plays break down. So on this play, Raiola faces pressure from the linebacker blitz, but places his foot, dodges the tackle, and delivers a perfect left-hand pass to the tight end, pulling off some Mahomes magic. But was really kind of cool here on this play, which Raiola is able to do a lot, is just the athleticism to dodge a defender, placing the right foot on the ground, and then being able to extend the play. These next two plays are from Raiola's performance against Michigan State. Here on the first play action, sees the gap, and Raiola is able to use his legs to get the first down. This second play, the pocket collapses, and Raiola steps up, finds the gap,
and with a physical run up the middle, gains about 10 yards.
So yeah, definitely a little bit Mahomey, whatever you want to call it. And then finally, the other thing Raiola has, which just not every quarterback has, is just an extreme amount of arm talent. Raiola can make any throw on the field, and though he struggles with accuracy, when he hits his mark, it can be super impressive.
On the road against Maryland, Raiola here, a play-action play, finds his receiver, perfect timing, and just a perfect throw into a tight sideline window. Now in the red zone, Raiola fakes a handoff and then delivers the touchdown pass to the end zone, put it right where it needed to be. And as we watch back this touchdown pass, this is just an example of Raiola, A, picking up where he needs to throw the ball, and then B, just having the arm talent to pull it off. This ball could not have been anywhere else, but he high points it, puts it where it needs to be for Hunter to make a play on it, and the result is a touchdown. So we were just talking about Raiola's athleticism. Here's him rolling out right, throwing on the run off balance, and delivering an absolute dart and weaving it here through a couple defenders, finding the gap in coverage. Just a great play. Finally, against the Wolverines, Raiola delivering a strike right where it needed to be for the receiver once again. Something we see that Raiola is really good at. The receiver is going to run a little bit of an out, but kind of settle in the gap between the defenders. And Raiola plays it away from the cornerback so the receiver can make that play on the ball.
So we've seen the good, and now it's time to get into the bad. I want to start with something that's come up in multiple games this year, and that's Raiola just holding on to the ball a little bit too long. While I would say he has a strong pocket presence, I think that there are a lot of times where he just doesn't get rid of the ball, and that's created a lot of sacks this year for opposing defenses.
Tough 24-6 loss for Nebraska against Minnesota last Saturday, and a big part of that was Minnesota's 9 sacks. They got to Raiola all day long, and while a large part of this was on the Cornhusker offensive line, Raiola also can do a much better job and could have done a better job last week. Here's a 2nd and 11 play in the red zone. This is a play where you cannot take a sack. Situationally, down 4 here, you're trying to punch it in before the end of the half. You don't want to take a sack. You want to have a play at 3rd down at the red zone. So here Raiola takes the snap. Now in this moment before he steps up, you can already see that he has the running back in the flat and receiver number 6 kind of at the 11-yard line there, who's about to settle in between those two cornerback defenders. Raiola made the correct decision to step up, but here kind of a lapse in judgment, continues to hold on the ball instead of getting the ball to one of those open receivers or running left where there's space. Instead, he stays where he is, holds on to the ball longer than he should have, and the result on the play is a sack, which backs Nebraska up all the way to the 20-yard line. Against Michigan, we saw some of the same tendency from Raiola to hold on to the ball a little bit too long. Here, he's looking and sees the blitz coming at him from the right side. And when he steps up here correctly, he just kind of waits a little bit too long to do what he does. If we roll it back, we see that the running back was looking at him, and Raiola was looking at the running back, but he just waited a little bit too long, and when he eventually did throw the ball, it was too late, and he was hit as he threw.
Now, the last thing I want to talk about with Raiola is he's just a little bit mistake prone. Though he's good at being an accurate passer and he has a good football IQ, there are plays where he makes throws where it's like, how can you be that inaccurate? Or what did you see on that play? And that led to an interception. So let's look at that.
Another red zone blunder for Raiola in the Minnesota game, taking the snap, the fade route to the bottom receiver, has the man, but overthrows him, just a miss in accuracy. Down 10, late game action against the Wolverines. Raiola, maybe feeling the need to make a play, does a nice job evading a tackle, stepping up in the pocket. Here we see him throwing way off platform, but honestly not the best decision from Raiola. Not on the same page with the receiver, and we can see him kind of thinking maybe he wanted that one back. As we see here again, did a good job stepping up, but the receiver was well covered downfield and kind of settling Raiola with a little bit of an overthrow. Here we see one of Raiola's 5 interceptions this season, and this was a bad one. Looking for his slot receiver, the route gets jumped, but it was really the result of a bad Raiola throw, just completely off target, pick 6. And then here we look at another one of his 2 interceptions, throwing here to a tightly covered receiver. So right away we see it's probably not the best option. The corner jumps the route, and then the other corner in zone coming over to help makes the play on the ball after the deflection. It's an interception for the Wolverines. But looking back at it from Raiola's perspective here, obviously thought he could weave it in there, but we see the corner just sitting on this route, and that's something Raiola's got to be able to identify. On top of that, if he wanted to go there, with the corner sitting on that route, the throw was going to have to be earlier, but didn't make it happen.
So what does this mean for Northwestern against Nebraska this weekend? Well, I think that there are opportunities to attack Dylan Raiola. As we saw against Minnesota, the Golden Gophers got to Raiola 9 times, and that's in large part due to Raiola's tendency to just hold on to the ball a little bit too long. I think the Cats need to bring pressure, and if they can get out to an early lead, that'll help as well. Raiola's mistakes tend to come when he's playing from behind, feeling the need to force a play. So, Northwestern, Nebraska this Saturday, and that's all for the Dylan Raiola film analysis.